He has a 1-1 count. That one's struck high. Left side. That one's going. That's out of here off the wall. You have to be kidding me. Fireworks. Here you go.
Welcome in, Class 2A Rankings Week 7, just in a matter of seconds. We appreciate you guys for joining us on this Monday, Tuesday, whenever you might be watching this. This might be the final edition for regular season rankings. Not really sure how we're going to do that because postseason action does get going on Saturday for Class 1A and 2A. So we'll figure out if we're going to update these. Not a ton of games left on the schedule for these guys. And obviously these schools are prepped and ready. They know their path to Carroll. So not much is going to change between now and the postseason. But without further ado, let's get right into it. 16 through 11 in Class 2A this week. As we got two new teams joining, Meepo and Jessup. Now, I wanted to talk Jessup just a little bit. This team's kind of impressed me throughout the season. 15-8 at this point. Real solid group. And we haven't talked about Jessup at all this year. They've won a few big games. They've got some nice resume builders. And a guy that you need to know is senior Jack Miller. I mean, this dude is leading Class 2A, and heck, he's up there in a lot of across all classes in some of these categories. He's got 73 total bases, hitting 542, slugging over 1,000. 4 homers, 6 triples, and 10 doubles. Jack Miller is a force at this point. I mean, the next best total base getter on his team is 37, so he's almost doubled. He's one total base away from doubling the next best on his squad. But Jessup and the Jayhawks, they put together a really good year, and they're going to be ready come postseason time. Jackie also leads them in innings pitched along with Ryan Treptow. They got a really solid squad, and it's going to be interesting to see come postseason time how they fare. They were in a tough North Iowa Cedar with Wapsie Valley and Sumner Fredericksburg, so they've been through those battles, and they're going to be ready to roll. But outside that, inside our top 16, Forest City takes a dip. Like I said, Meepo, they join the rankings here after a 3-0 week. Pella Christian dropped a little bit after going 0-3, and then Sheraton, they get a bump. We talked about them last week, 4-0 again for the Chargers. That's a sneaky team come postseason time. And then New Hampton, they go 2-2 and drop outside the top 10. So we've got room inside the top 10, Andrew. And at number 10 is a team. It's really a cool story. This team came. They had a huge win against Glenwood to kind of clinch the Hawkeye 10. We got a 2A team winning the Hawkeye 10. I mean that's really impressive. And I know you're liking what you see from Clarinda at this point.
Yeah, again, their schedule has just been brutal. You know, they have wins over Creston, like you said, wins over Glenwood. They battle hard, win over Lewis Central as well. And they really kind of made their way. And again, putting up 14 runs against Glenwood's always going to stand out. And that's without going up against, again, we tried to catch them on the 27th, just unfortunately unable to do it due to rain in the area. But my gosh, this is a team that has gone toe-to-toe, and a lot of guys on this roster that you can like. I will say Creighton Tuzio is slowly creeping up as one of my favorite names out there, but also this is a guy that can just deal at 72 strikeouts, teams hitting under 200, $115 is all that they're mustering here. And he has only given up 5 earned runs. And then on the other side of things, he can rake too. 429 average, 48 total bases. But Cole Baumgart is also another fellow senior that has also just been picking up, right? They've been putting a lot in there. He has 8 doubles on the year. And ultimately, he has 12 extra base hits. And this is a team that has slowly made their way and done it. And, you know, what have we seen in the Hawkeye 10 conference so far? We've seen Lewis Central go down a couple times. Harlan gets swept. We've seen a lot of Hawkeye 10 has been so volatile this year that it's just been amazing that anyone's been able to get double-digit wins at this point when you take a look at the conference and how that has turned out. But again, love where they're going here. And again, to win the Hawkeye 10 conference is always something that you got to be proud of, and you know it's going to help you out here. I mean, in the end, no other team in the conference has had less than 4 losses. And you can say that, hey, the only loss that you've only had one loss in the conference. And that is something else. Again, 3 losses overall. That is absolutely huge. And again, you have to go all the way back to Harlan on the 14th of June in order for that to be the last loss in conference play that they have had. In fact, beyond that, in a Bondurant-Farrar loss, in which that was a close game, they haven't lost since. Those are the only 2 losses since that point. 3 losses overall. So, yeah, this is a team that's really red hot right now and deserves that spot. And, again, those 2 names, 2 big names to mention here. You should know them. Baumgart, Tuzio will always be big factors. They're going to get out on you quick. In fact, a lot of their games, they have had big production in the first 4 innings of play, and that's, I think, where their bread and butter is. They can hit you early, and that's where they get their wins. So yeah, I like them. They're 2 big names to watch out for.
Absolutely, and their third loss is 3A winner set on May 31st. So haven't lost yet to Class 2A opponents. And if you're foreshadowing in that bracket, Andrew, you got
Yeah.
Clarendon and Underwood set on a collision course, and man, Underwood, that's a tough draw, drawing a Hawkeye 10 champion as the 2 seed in your bracket. So definitely something to monitor as we head into postseason play and down the stretch into the brackets. But outside of that, West Lyon, they jump up 3 spots after a 4-0 week. Northeast, we talk about them, the scariest 4 seed on planet Earth. They
Yeah.
jump up a spot. They split the series with Clinton. Doesn't move the needle too much. 3-1 week for them. Beckman Catholic, they take a dip. Two losses this week to Waller and Kennedy. That's not going to affect too much down the stretch. Again, Beckman Catholic, the record's just never going to be shining heading into the postseason because of the schedule they play. But they will sit at number 7 this week. And then rounding out at number 6, Sumner Fredericksburg, a team. This has been a sneakily efficient team. Top 5 in ERA and batting average. The Cougars earned a
Yep.
5-2 win over Hudson to highlight their week. They went 3-0. Sumner Fredericksburg, definitely someone to look out for. But as we reveal our top 5, a team that hadn't played in a long time, it's Estherville Lincoln Central. The loss to Des Moines Christian, it was the latest string of tough games. But Preston Crease and Estherville Lincoln Central, they've been hot, and this is a top 5 team. I don't think there's any doubt about that heading into the postseason, Andrew.
No, and they've done a lot of work to get there. Again, they've claimed 3 consecutive conference crowns, and they've done so. Just efficient work, man. They make it work. They do what they need to do. Ultimately, this is a team that does battle up when they get the chance. They do try a lot of things, and again, it might not be flashy right now, but man, they still have 204 strikeouts as a pitching squad. Larson being kind of the biggest catalyst to that. I still think he should think about switching over to baseball instead of basketball, but not going to go down that route for sure. It's just really cool. A lot of these guys are multi-sport athletes, and as many of them are in Class 2A, 3A, and beyond. But yeah, again, this is a team that isn't really flashy in a whole lot of areas, but man, they make it work and they do a lot of good stuff here. And ultimately, I like how they play. They're quick, they're fast. One of the better fielding teams in the class. So yes, I like everything you said and more. They do a great job, and they're going to be a real tough out when the postseason hits.
Absolutely. I did realize I was reading the wrong script. It was Van Meter, as I reveal here at number 4, that just suffered a loss to Des Moines Christian. That tied their conference standings, Andrew. I'm going to reveal both these teams at the same time. Van Meter at number 4, Des Moines Christian at number 3, as I reveal them. What a battle that was. Plague and Cool
Yeah.
still leads the class with 5 homers, tied with Des Moines Christian's tie, Andrew. These are 2 teams, Andrew, that are absolutely forces heading into the postseason. Des Moines Christian, this team has won 18 in a row. We've talked about how fun this team is week in and week out. They get that big kind of staple win over Van Meter to really push the edge and send a statement. I mean, what do you see out of these 2 teams heading into the postseason? And I think there's a good shot they both end up in Carroll.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about it. One thing I like here is, Plague and Cool, the guy that leads the home run race, actually he's tied, and he's tied with the guy from Des Moines Christian and Ty Andrews. I mean, before he heads off to fly high with Kirkwood, he is doing a fantastic job, and he does a great job calling the game behind the plate. absolutely phenomenal what they do. And, both of these teams have guys that they could throw out 2 to 3 pitchers and go through until sub-state finals, if not more. And they put out limited pitching, right? For the Des Moines Christian, obviously you got the Andrews brothers, you got Isenhart, you got, those 3 alone, you could go out and then quickly mow them down. You get to the next, you save some arms, you save that bullpen. And, for Van Meter, we already talk a lot about Cole Moore. But him, Plegencool as well. Those are 2 guys on the pitching side. We talk a lot about hitting wise, but on the pitching side, they can do a lot of damage as well. Ultimately, they're third in the class in total bases, third only to Des Moines Christian and West Marshall. But these teams put up, and they do so early, a lot of games. When you look down the line and a lot of their games this season, they have been able to poke across a lot of early advantage, a lot of early runs. And really, I think it could have gone either way in game 1. Of course, a forfeit for Des Moines Christian in their first outing, unfortunately, didn't show the fair fight that it was. But yeah, these are 2 evenly battled squads, and I like where they're headed, man. It truly is. You look down the line, they're going to be top 5, top 10, if not top 15 in a lot of categories, and that's just how it rolls. You got Brady Andrews, who has been on fire. He's had a resurgent year from last year, and talking with coaches, he's bound for a lot of big things in the years to come. He's going to follow what his brother's doing right now, and what his brother's doing right now, Ty Andrews, is arguably one of the best catchers in the state. So you get a lot when you come to these 2 teams, and it's going to be fun to look forward to them. Hopefully we get to see them at state, because they're just really fun to watch. You just want to keep watching them play.
No doubt about it. We'll talk about a team that leads in a lot of statistical categories. Underwood sits here at number 2. Andrew, a few slip-ups for Underwood at points in the year, but this team is playing, you could say, their best ball going into the postseason. 3 wins last week, all 3 shutouts. Louette, he struck out 10 against a good Woodbury Central team down in Class 1A. Underwood, this train's full go heading into bracket play.
Yeah, and the thing about it is they have been very fun, very instrumental in how they done. And the one thing about it is one of those teams that they faced and shut out was Harlan. They went there, they did it, they gave up 9 hits, but they still didn't issue a run. That's the thing that really kind of strikes out to me. This is a team that bends but not breaks. And, they've had a lot of, whether you look at the schedule and want to say anything about that or not, they've made it happen with what they've got. And it's been really cool to see that go through. A lot of these programs here in 1A and 2A, man, you sometimes get to a point where they kind of break quite a bit. But 7-0 over Woodbury Central, 5-0 over Harlan. Tri-Center's not a bad team either. And beyond that, you had wins over Creston as well. So they play up, and they have not lost a single Western Iowa Conference game this year. And 21 wins. You look back to the last loss that they had, Van Meter, and that was a tough game. That was a back and forth. That was, again, at the Gebhardt tournament, the Jim Gebhardt tournament here. But even beyond that, IKM Manning was the only other team to figure out how to get a win against them. So they have gone through stretches. They have not had a stretch in which they have had a loss in 5 games. So they go 5 games, maybe take a loss, or they go like they've had near 10 wins with a winning streak of that mark, and they still haven't had a loss. So, yeah, they've got some tests coming on up here with Kingsley, Pearson, Remsen, St. Mary's, and MOC, but, all those teams are going to be scared for them and not the other way around, and that's what this program has meant. Again, you mentioned Louette and the rest of that crew, absolutely on fire, on point, and I love what they're doing. And so, yeah, not much else to add there other than they continually make it happen. And they got a sophomore leading that program, and they don't lose anything from last year. So I think in there it's either title win or bust for them.
Absolutely. Well, in a Class 2A full of really, really good teams, Andrew, I think number one, it's obvious, and it's West Marshall. I mean, they've led nothing to believe that this team is not number one in Class 2A right now. The first
Hmm.
team to, I mean, they just hit their 30th win, which is extremely impressive before postseason even gets going. And I got to mention Owen Seeger in his game against Sadell. 7 innings, 1 earned, 18 strikeouts. You strike out 18 guys, especially against a solid team in Sadell. That is no easy feat, but he did it. West Marshall, like I said, this team is just ready to roll, and it's been so fun to follow all year long, Andrew.
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is they still hold highest run differentials in the class at nearly or over 8, I should say. And man, what they've had is they've just win, right? They have one loss away from home. At home, they're undefeated. It's what more can you ask from that? So, teams get away from there. You look at the rest of the squad, and MFL Marmac, well, excuse me, I should say Sheraton is one of the only other teams to have one or less losses away from home. Van Meter, Des Moines Christian, we already talked about. They are undefeated on the road. So the environment doesn't scare them. And, it's getting fun. Owen Seegert, I got to say, it is as fun to watch him bat as it is pitch, right? He is second in the class in total bases, and he is rocking it right now. 11 doubles, 3 triples, 2 home runs, and he's slugging at 704. Not many people in the state are slugging at a clip of that mark. And what does that mean? That almost every other at bat you're striking an extra base hit, right? Or what you're doing is bringing in a lot of big outings. So yeah, I like what they're at. And certainly it's fun, and they constantly go up in the conference they're at. They go up against 3A teams. They battle up against there, and yeah, there's not much to not like. In fact, you go down the line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys with at least 30 bases, total bases or more. You got 2 of them that are beyond that. And Destel and, of course, Seegert as well. Both of those guys, a freshman senior mix, which I love, by the way. Those 2 at 60 plus total bases. And then you got the other Seegert and Evan Seegert, the sophomore. And then, really, what's fun about this here is you have DeSoto, you have Seegert DeSoto, Seegert DeSoto. So you got a pair of brother tandems that are leading the squad. And that just makes for another cool background story to begin with, right? I mean, it's just really cool. I love it overall. And that's without mentioning D, Bear, Rideout, Shaver, all those guys who we've talked about already. So, yeah, they've got a lineup loaded. This could be their year, and certainly it would be fun to see them at state.
Yeah, a lot of teams colliding, or set to collide in Carroll, I should say. If we get the field we're thinking in Class 2A, it could be a ton of fun down at Merchants Park. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Class 2A rankings week 7. That's all we got. Class 2A fans, we'll catch you next time. Plenty of postseason content on the way here at IABaseball. Check us out on socials.